What has happened, community? We are back. Today is Wednesday. It is mid-November, and you know what that means? It has no significant meaning whatsoever. There's no pattern at all. But I'm going to go with we're going to have a community stream. We got a community stream. It's been a while. So I hope you all are doing good. We got 2 to 3 people going to talk about different protocols or projects going on PulseChain in real life, or on the blockchain, or on the interwebs. All those. So, hopefully, you all feel free to ask questions. We'll go through a few and probably have it to about an hour or so. It should be a good stream. So I'm excited. Love interacting with the community. Again, I don't follow a lot of projects. I spend a lot of time on the core coins and a lot of my time and energy on those as well. But I know a lot of people are building and producing a lot of great stuff out there as well. So every once in a while, we have a community stream to let them highlight what's going on and all that stuff as well. So and interact and all that good stuff. So without further ado, you bring them onto the show for the nth time. Wild SJ, and welcome back, Vando. Good to see you both.
Yay! Hello.
Vando, I can't tell by your shirt, but I think you have something to do with Project Pi. Is that correct?
Yeah, something like that, man. I'm one of the co-founders of Project Pi. So I guess I can give a brief little introduction. Again, my name is Vandel, or Van, or the Connector on X. I'm one of the co-founders of Project Pi. And if you don't know what Project Pi is, it is a simplified node infrastructure company and liquid staking protocol for PulseChain. We actually were pitched at the PulseChain tour back in March, and we won that. That was super cool. And since then, guys, we have been building, and I know so many people are ready for mainnet. So just to give you some updates and some news, we are getting our final smart contracts audited. So that's super cool. That's the last thing we need, and we'll be going to mainnet fairly soon. I don't have an ETA. It just really all depends on what the auditor says when we get back, but we're confident that we did very well. Again, we got a pre-seed offering of our early staking where we had 158 stakers staking, which is super cool. You guys got our token for free. And we've just been building, guys. Just a little bit to update you guys since we last talked. Our token is actually our ERC-404. And for those who don't know what that is, it's fractionalized NFTs, where it's a hybrid of ERC-20 and ERC-404. And the cool thing with is this has never been done. So this is going to be the first time on PulseChain. And the cool thing is, what a lot of people talk about NFTs is like, well, what's the yield? Well, the yield is going to come from the validators. So the cool thing is, if you don't know, Pi 3.14, our max supply is 314 million. For every 100,000 PPY tokens you have, you will get 1 NFT. Now, what does this NFT do? That is a great question. It'll be used for DAO governance, but the cool thing is you can actually stake this NFT and actually gain additional yield on your NFT. So one thing you can do is, we like to say, with solo validating on PulseChain, you need 32 million Pulse. Well, for us, you only need 16 million. But for our first 100 early stakers, you only need 8 million, 1/4 the price. Very simple, very easy, half the price, double the APY. On the liquid staking side, you're getting about 36%, but as more people are entering our protocol and you stake this NFT, it is very highly likely that your APY will actually be higher than being a solo validator on PulseChain. So that's kind of it. Again, there's a lot more stuff I want to say, but if you want to know more, just follow us on Twitter and X and all our social media platforms at Project Pi 3.14.
Awesome, man. Did you have do you want to get into, I think you got a demo, you and SJ can show us how it works?
Yeah, so just to show you how simple it is, guys, I'm actually going to have SJ take it over. I'll kind of guide her, but honestly, guys, you don't need any guidance. It's very easy, very simple. Again, when we talk about simplified node infrastructure company, it is so simple, guys. It's awesome. So if you could share your screen, if possible, SJ, that would be great. No rush.
There we go.
This is November, and, Max would say, know what it is, but, it's Node November, so perfect time we could talk about Node. So again, if you don't know, this is our website. So essentially, all you literally have to do is click on the top right and do Launch App, and that will bring you to the hub. It is very, very simple.
Oh, let me share the new tab. I see. There we go.
Yeah, so this is our hub. It's very simple. We can kind of go over the liquid staking side first. So if you can click the liquid staking tab to the left or the right of validator, Yep, that's it. So again, if you guys don't know what liquid staking is, you essentially are staking your pulse to get back pulse and earn more pulse. Our derivative token is called ST Pulse, so it's really great. And again, people ask, well, where's the yield coming from? Again, validators. So if you could, SJ, if you can connect your wallet, that would be great.
I don't have a wallet on this laptop.
Okay. Well, no worries. That's fine. There's no wallet, but essentially you would just type in the amount of posts that you need and stake it, and you're good to go. I mean, if anything, I can just share my screen. I can just go over it very quickly. I unfortunately don't have enough test polls. Chris, if you can hear me, if you can send me some test polls, that'd be dope. But let me go ahead and share my screen real quick. I can kind of show you how simple and easy this is. Give me 1 second. Share screen. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
All right, cool. So again, liquid staking is very simple. So you would just take your, pulse. You would take a minimum amount. I have 100,000 pulse. You would go ahead and deposit your pulse. You would confirm the transaction. And once that goes through, you would now be liquid staking. But the beautiful thing is we give you back ST Pulse. So it's like we gave you back your pulse and it's now gaining yield. I did click my wallet. I'm not sure if you can see it, but you can see the ST Pulse here. And then you can actually see the exchange rate. So if you actually swap back and you were to redeem your ST Pulse to Pulse, you would essentially do that. And you can see you're actually getting 318 Pulse. All about the exchange rate. The more people are utilizing protocol, the more values we have, the exchange rate will go lower to where you actually have getting more pulse. So that's as simple as liquid staking is. I don't actually have enough test pulse to do a validator, but it's very, very simple. You would essentially go to validate, you would create a Pi pool, you would upload your deposit file, you would click next, deposit your PPY, click next, deposit your 60 million pulse, and you're up and running. It's super simple as that. And yeah, that's basically it. That's all I want to show you guys. And then on the other end, the last part is the NFT staking. Again, you can stake your NFT as long as you have your 100,000 PPY, you can do that. And then once you stake it, you'll start actually gaining yields from the swaps from the liquid stakers, which is super, super cool and super awesome. So yeah.
Just real quick too on the tokens, just for people joining. Can you just go over like what the tokens do again? I know you just went to the demo on that piece, but the PPY, the is it ST PLS, just for people to understand.
Yeah, for sure. So again, our ethos is to make validating easy. Back in March, to be a validator, you need 32 million pulse, and that was upwards of over $8,000. And we want to make it to where people can, get a piece of the pie. So essentially, is for the validator side, you would need 32 million pulse. On our protocol, you need 16 million pulse. PPY or Project Power Yield is our governance token or utility token, or you think about as insurance. So you would essentially stake the 16 million pulse plus up to 25 to 150% collateralization. I can actually kind of show you like a little calculator here to see some more numbers. So if you actually go to calculator here, our TGE price would be at 3 cents. So this is kind of like what you're looking at. So, currently you're getting about 9.97% with 32 million pulse. Since you'll be actually gaining pulse and PPY, the minimum stake, depending on the price of pulse, would be PPY. And with that, you can see all the statistics, and you would actually get up to minimum 26%. And if you over collateralize, you get the US dollar amount of PPY. So for simple numbers, if 32 million pulse is $2,000, 16 million pulse be $1,000. So if you match that with, the $2.5 grand, you would be getting up to 48% because you're getting the pulse and the PPY. That's essentially how the validation part works. And then liquid staking, again, you're just staking your pulse, gaining more pulse, and you're still liquid, and it's pulled together. So 16 million would come from the validators, 16 million be coming from the liquid stakers. And once you're up and running, you can actually see your validator up and running, which I actually do have some running right here. So when it loads up, I have one that's actually staking. And you can see I have the collateralization rate of 33%. This is how much PPY I've staked. And you can see the PPY rewards I've earned. So I can simply click claim and restake, and I'm good to go. And that's how simple and easy it is.
All right, got a couple questions here. Try to chaos. If the website was to go down, is there an alternate method to access these coins?
Oh yes, it's all on the blockchain. It's all distributed. It's just a website. Again, you can easily go to the Explorer or the Beacon chain and go through it there. So if our website does go down, you will still be able to do what you need to do. We are very secure. We have DDoS protection, all that stuff. We've been running for almost 2 years now, and the site hasn't gone down. But that is a very good question.
One from Dan Smith. Where do the rewards come from? I think you might have covered it, but just to clarify.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, again, the rewards come from the validators. So, if you are a validator, again, that's a node that you're going to be running the full, PulseChain validator on there. And with that, you get the fees. So the yields come from fees. So it's single-sided. There's no slippage. The yield is generated from the validators or the protocol itself.
All right. And just a quick shout out to friend Somi. Great to see fam here. PulseChain is looking proud to way up. PulseChain is now 30x away to flip Cardano. So the gap's even wider. Here, better. Hex staking will reemerge into. We certainly appreciate, or I certainly appreciate, I'll speak for myself here, our friend Somi and all the work he does. And certainly hope rocket ship on its way. Certainly hope so. There's crushers also said some rocket ships as well. The rocket ships are here. And we look at the charts and it's like, well, actually, it just went up to 3,000%. That'd be fun. Chat, let me know if Pulse price tends to go up 3,000% during the stream. I'd be interested in knowing that for sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Do you have it handy? Johnny's just asking, can you demo RHMax? Do you have it handy? Is it just like on, just doing like a read or write on the Explorer? I mean, if you don't have it handy, that's okay too. But just
a demo, yeah. I mean, you could essentially just go to. I can kind of share my screen, but you can just simply go to our documentation, go to tutorials, and it has everything there. How it works is very simple, very easy.
Gotcha. All right. If you have any more questions for on Project Pi or otherwise for Van, put them in the chat. We can bounce around a little bit, but I'm gonna hand it to SJ for a moment too. He's wearing a very nice shirt. I do like that shirt. It looks very familiar. Almost in time for the anniversary, the 5-year anniversary. I don't know who made that shirt, but I like it. Yeah. Hey, you point in the right direction. But actually, not easy to do.
I did it the wrong way first.
Yeah. You got to. I got to do it the wrong way because it's opposite. Yeah. What do you want to cover, SJ? I think you've been doing something like a PulseChain tour thing. I'm not. I've ever. You heard of that band before? I'm not sure.
I got stopped so many times, people thinking that PulseChain Tour was a band driving around in the bus. They were like, what?
I mean, that does sound like a tour bus for music, but also, yeah, for conferences and seminars and stuff too.
Make my phone be quiet real quick.
It's all right.
All right. So basically, it's like, where did that Scivive girl go? What has she been doing these days? And I've spent the last 2 years with the PulseChain Tour. What we really learned was that it's in especially in a bear market, but just in general, doing an event like this, we want to. RG forever has said that he wants to fill stadiums, right? And that has been really something that kind of stuck with me, and like all of us on the team, really have thought about, well, how do we make that happen, right? How does that actually become reality? So we've decided now to, like, moving forward, we'll be focusing on one event a year, one big event. And this year we decided to do it in Vegas. It's going to be March 6th through the 9th. So Pulse 369 conference. And it's really going to be something else. Like this conference, I think, is going to be the biggest one we've had yet as a community, period. Let's do this. Let's take a look at this here website we've got. That is fun. 1 second. Thanks for your patience. Yay. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. So this is going to be the premier event for PulseChain, right? Like every year now, around the same time, we will be hosting this event. And this year we have the capacity. I think we have a capacity of up to 400 people. I think the ticket numbers like that we have available, we have a little less than that, but hey, man, like if that sells out, we know that we have the ability to add more room. So I'm at the wrong page. Let's see. We're going to go to the conference here. And I love this. Kaylin really has put in a lot of work, crypto culture, on this whole website here. So now we can see we've got 106 days, which really, as an organizer of this event, that's coming up quick. So we've got a lot of work to do. We've been working kind of nonstop for the last couple months on it, starting to, figure out who our speakers are going to be, like what the different parts of the conference are going to look like. So I'm super happy to announce that it's going to be, just full, like chock full of great value. So you can see here, we've already got some of the lineup in terms of speakers. We haven't actually done the schedule yet, but that's, a big part of what we're getting figured out right now, including this gentleman here will be attending and speaking. And, Project Pi, I mean, they are probably one of the best projects to attest to the awesomeness of the PulseChain tour in terms of, like, last year we did a pitch fest, which we are going to go ahead and do again this year. And that to me was one of the coolest parts, was just seeing all of these projects and people with these brilliant ideas wanting to build on PulseChain and wanting to make that a reality. And then us having the ability to, grant funds to help that happen, to make that happen. So as of right now, that's the prize, right? $2,500. I have a very good feeling that as we continue to talk to people about this, more people come on board, we get sponsors, I have a feeling that number is going to go up quite a bit. So that's super exciting. And then the Pulse Masters Golf Tournament, if any of y'all remember a couple years ago, the first Pulse Masters Golf Tournament, that was kind of one of the events that was like a saving grace moment for that whole conference, right? Because there were things that fell through, things that didn't work out. And this was something that Kaylin in particular put together and really made it an amazing day. Each hole is sponsored by a different group. And like last year, there was a hole where someone rented a golf ball cannon and there was a cutout of Richard Hart and they were just like, pew, 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 pew. One hole
cool.
was the woman's like, we'll wash your balls hole. That was quite the thing. Yeah, so I'm really excited to see what people come up with this year in terms of their sponsorships and what they're going to have going on there. And then, so for the hotels, the conference itself is at the Flamingo. These two hotels you see here are right next to it. So the Cromwell's on one side, the Link is on the other side. The Link is great. Just kind of standard, like wonderful hotel. It's a little more on the like budget friendly side. So if you need budget friendly, the Link's your spot. The Cromwell, I had never heard of this hotel. And I think Kaylin stayed there. She and I went to an AI conference and it's nice. So the Cromwell is like a little more, of your luxury. The rooms are really cool. Like they've got a whole vibe going on. So if more upscale is what you're looking for, the Cromwell is what you want to do. And we do have the group discounts. So you just let them know you're with the PLS 369 or PulseChain tour. They should know what you're talking about there. Yeah. And then there's just all sorts of information. If you want to sponsor or speak, there are, let's see, there should be, so apply to speak here. And then for sponsorship info, you can click down over there. We won't go into all that. But that's one thing that I've been a part of. The other thing that is newer for me, and I just want to like touch on real quick. Oh, lastly, the last thing I'll say about the conference is that we had given many different content creators codes for a percentage off. I'm not sure what the last day is that we'll have this percentage off, but it's still 10% off. So if you want to use code AXIS, RG3, VETS, there's a whole slew. Probably one of your favorite content creators has a code for this. So reach out to them, support them, supporting us, supporting you. So that's it. And then this group is really starting to, I don't know what the right word is. I've started to get to know this team better, and I'm now part of the team. FanForge is really doing something spectacular in terms of publishing to the blockchain and ensuring that users have media rights. So there have been many companies lately, especially if you're into gaming, or even like anime and things like that. There have been companies where, let's say you paid for a certain game 3 years ago, and whereas in the past, if you had the physical game, right, you'd have that forever. Well, now these companies are delisting movies and video games and, you know, shows. And it's like, wait, I paid for that, but you don't have the rights to it anymore, right? They just like yoink it from you. So at the core of what FanForge is, it's going to be a boutique publisher of intellectual properties, and we ensure that the IPs keep 100% of their income. Like we don't take a percentage, we don't take a cut. We promote them, but we promote them because we've curated our content, and we only accept like high quality IPs that are kind of already out there doing a thing. And then we make sure that their content is published to the blockchain. And we are PulseChain exclusive right now, right? Like we're launching on PulseChain. And one of the founders, Joe, he's been on with RG3 a few times. His heart for this project and for doing this as a creator, because he's done video game art for many, many years. And he's, like many other creators, have been kind of like shafted by these larger companies, right? So it's kind of something that's coming from someone that's been in that industry and is for the industry to see people do well and have their IPs promoted and have their IPs be, you know, put on the blockchain forever so that everyone can enjoy them. And, you know, you're not stuck here having paid something and then all of a sudden it's gone. So I told Max before we started, I still feel a little apprehensive speaking on behalf of the team, even though I am on the team, just because I'm one of the newest members. I am the newest member of the team, and I'm still trying to really, you know, hone in on like how to explain what this is. No coin, there's no, you know, like there's not going to be anything like that. We will utilize the NFT contract, but we're not an NFT anything marketplace or anything like that. We're not even going to have a secondary marketplace for anything. So it's really just going to be one of those projects where a lot of people that interact with it won't even know the blockchain's involved. And I think that that's a pretty cool idea. Thanks.
All right. Yeah, so we got so today Project Pi, PulseChain Tour. SJ briefly spoke on FanForge, and next up we have a couple I haven't met yet, but are coming on today to talk about Actuator protocol. So we got RJ and C3 Works. Welcome.
Hey, Max. Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for letting us be here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you'll want to talk about the Actuator protocol. I think Sloth told me a little bit about it. But you want to talk about it. If you have any demo or otherwise, feel free to share the screen. And just reminders to the chat, if you have any questions about Project Pi, PulseChain Tour, FanForge, anything else, Actuator protocol, put them in the chat. We'll get to them as we can. But yeah, what do y'all got to start us off with?
Well, why don't I give just a quick intro, then I'll let RJ show the screens and walk you around, because it's really pretty cool at the UI level as well as the back end. First, its purpose. There's a simplistic way to operate with Actuator, and then there's a fairly sophisticated set of ways. But in essence, it's letting you draw liquidity out of a staked hex stake, an HSI. You're able to monetize part of that along the way and through the life. And you're able to do that in a very elegant way that's fully market-based, that's reversible, meaning you're not doing anything permanent to it. You're preserving your utility of that, and you can deploy those funds back into more hex stakes so you can amplify your returns. There's many different strategies that you can do. And we do that by creating these intermediary tokens that are backed by hex, 1-for-1, protocol insured invariance with audits, 2 security audits and a financial audit, so that on the other side of the market might just be people who want to buy discounted hex. It's another way to generate hex returns with fixed and established return rates in hex terms that are completely locked in because of the discount you bought it at. You hold it to a redemption date and you get a 1-for-1 hex back. So there's a number of neat strategies that come, and what we think this is going to develop into, because both RJ and I come out of the traditional finance world and fixed income, we think that hex being worthy of becoming a reserve asset in a new economy will benefit from a fully developed native yield curve, much like the traditional finance world builds upon the time value of money in a reserve asset that's market-based and established all the way out the curve. We think this protocol is going to emerge into that and will allow lots of really innovative things to build. So at its beginning, you're getting some liquidity out of your own protocol or out of your own HSIs, and you can groom that how you want. And over time, what we're going to see is a fully developed yield curve with hex as a reserve asset. So maybe RJ, you want to show around some of those mechanics?
Sure. Yeah, Max, if it's on, I'm going to share my screen.
And it's a fully completed deployed project, by the way, and with good liquidity.
All right.
Yeah, so this is the DApp. As my co-founder mentioned, you have I think a crucial thing up front to understand about the protocol is that it's not dependent on the value of some external token. It's just dependent on the value of hex. So with any given hex stake, you have an amount of hex that's been staked, plus you have an amount of hex that's been accrued in interest to date. And that amount is rigorous and knowable at any point in time. So you can just simply consult the hex contract to identify that amount of hex that's been accrued up in your stake. So our contract is built on top of hex, and it identifies what is the stake worth in hex terms, and then it allows you to mint an equivalent amount of what we're calling hex time tokens. And hex time tokens are backed 1-to-1 by hex, and they're redeemable 1-to-1 for hex once the stake ends. So it allows you to turn this NFT, this HSI, into a fungible token called the hex time token. So on the screen here, let me just walk you through a specific stake example, if that's all right. So here you're presented with the hex stakes that you own but have been delegated to the Actuator protocol. And so there's some things that are familiar to us. We have our T-shares, we have our progress in the stake, we have our end day, our principal, and we have accrued rewards, or the amount of hex that we've earned to date. And then our protocol wraps an additional function on top of that, where you're able to extract those time tokens from your stake. So notice here that I had 5 hex in principal in this stake, and our protocol allowed you to mint 5 what's called the hex time token, and it's called HTT 7000 because 7000 is the day that it's redeemable 1-for-1 for hex. And this is an ERC20 that I've extracted from the stake that's tradable, on PulseX. And as my stake accrues additional rewards each day, I can extract an additional amount of hex time tokens. So I could do this in real time, and you can't see my wallet, but I'm signing a transaction here to extract. So that's a pending transaction now, and once it mints, this transaction is successful, and you'll see now that I've extracted that amount, just got added to my existing HTT 7000 balance, and you could see that in here I have this amount was increased. So so the idea is that as your stake accrues rewards, you're able to extract these tokens every day, and these tokens can be sold into the market. And again, they're not they're backed 1-to-1 by the hex in the stake, and you can retire these tokens, you can return them back into your stake such that you have no outstanding tokens minted against your stake, and you can regain full control of your stake. So that's the mechanics.
Hey, real quick,
go ahead.
Where's the HTT number stuff come from again? I imagine in chat it looks like, is that like another, maybe just clarify that, like where does the HTT 7000, 5000, where does that come from?
Yeah. So I have this particular stake ends on hex day 7000. So So it's 5. This is the length of the stake, and the day ends on hex day 7,000. And because my stake ends on day 7,000, the token that I'm able to mint against it is this HTT 7,000, indicating that this token is redeemable on day 7,000. So basically, long story short, the token, the time token that you mint against your stake is going to match the end day of your stake, and that's where the 7,000 comes from. Does that make sense?
Yeah. When I first looked at it, I was like, staking for 7,000 days. That's not. I know 5,505, and 7,000 is a lot more than that. I'm pretty sure we can't do 20-year stakes, but okay.
Sorry, that's a common misconception. So yeah, it's the absolute hex day. So we're on day 1815, and yeah, the absolute hex day is 7,000.
Let me add an extra point here, and RJ, if you'll call up the dashboard main page for a second. All right, notice there in the center on the right, we got some great information on this page, a lot of really good analytics that takes some time to see. So we're only going to sort of be able to whet your appetite today in this introductory discussion. I'm sure a lot of wheels are turning, and they should be, because at its core level, as I said, there's some very straightforward and simple strategies that don't require mind-bending thoughts in order to deploy them. And at the same time, this will probably bring a lot of really interesting ideas to your mind, and you're probably right that there's some cool strategies you can really get into. But at the moment, we started with 3 different time tokens in terms of groupings. Notice there, we got 3,000, 5,000, and 7,000. And if you look across at the right side, it shows you the dates that are the redemption date and the number of years that you're looking at. So in short, what we did is we picked a short part of the curve, a mid part of the curve, and a long part of the curve across the 15 years that are available to a hex stake, right? We picked a short, mid, and a long as the 3 first data points of a yield curve. And we did that because, as you might imagine, when you have if we had 20 different parts of the curve, we'd have to divide all the liquidity over 20 different little pools, and that would be very thin. So the trade-off between the number of initial pools and good liquidity, we felt, was 3. But again, in the documents, we have very good documentation. I encourage everyone to take a quick look at actuator.finance, which is where you're going to see all the documentations. You'll see our 2 security audits. You'll see our financial audit. You'll see examples, and you'll see a lot of things there that we can't probably get to in one stream. But you will also see the farming schedule and the deployment schedule over 3 years of more of these pools that will be coming. So we've got 3 for year 1. We've got a few more coming in year 2 and a few more coming in year 3 that fill out the whole curve. So I'll pause for a second there, but I just wanted you to see that you're starting in terms of the short part of the curve, mid part of the curve, and the long part of the curve. And while you don't have to match exactly those days, you can use your existing HSIs. For example, again, I'm day 1 hexagon, been around for all this. I know everything that we've been through. I've been through it. So that was some of the inspiration for the project here. You can use your existing HSIs. If you bought them through the Hedron ICOSA, you have a bunch of those from auction. They're going to work here. They're going to work somewhere between your HTT 5,000 and 7,000. And you can deploy those and extract some liquidity and use that for other strategies if you want. Really cool things. So
yeah, just to simplify for people too, and maybe people listening in or otherwise are like, okay, it's interesting. I have hex, I have stakes, I have HSIs. What is just like the, like 2 or 3 sentence, like this is what I can do with my hex with this protocol. Like what does this enable? How does this, help hex? How does it, give me the tools to do something with the hex?
This allows you to get liquidity out of an HSI. So it means that if you were ever considering emergency end staking, that's horrible. Don't do it. Consider a more elegant answer like this, especially because you can restore it when you're done. So there's the first thing, if you're that sort of a person. If you want a really simple way to earn hex yield, you simply buy an HTT. You buy it at a discount, and it's guaranteed to provide you 1-for-1 hex at maturity. And the deeper the discount, the better the deal. And you can be on either side of that market. If the returns look cheap to you, then you can be the buyer of the HTT. If the returns look rich to you or too low, then that's the ideal time to create the HSI, mint and sell your HTTs, and get paid a lot of money for those, for that return. So there's your short-term answer: is it helps you get liquidity when you want some. It's a market-based answer, and it also provides you a simple way to invest or just simply build a portfolio of discounted HEX.
And real quick, just to explain why it's a big deal for HEX staking is we're experiencing this ourselves as a team, because the Actuator company, we have several stakes, and the utility in a longer stake is really evident, more so now than ever for us, because you're able to extract value from your stake every day. And we have 3,000, we have stakes that are ending on day 3,000. We have stakes that are ending on day 7,000. And, our growing extractability, our growing amount of liquidity we can pull out of the stake is growing at a far faster rate, obviously, in HTT 7,000. And it's lowering the barrier to create those longer and bigger stakes, because you have that flexibility that you didn't have before. And again, it's a reliable, we could claim reliability because ultimately you're extracting tokens that are backed by HEX. And so you have like reasonable assurances about what the value of your liquidity is going to be, because the tokens you're minting are HEX backed.
So here's the advantage to the community. You asked about the individual person, which we sort of spoke to. But as the HEX community, we wouldn't want to do anything that's not going to promote and help and advance the fullness of the HEX community. I mean, it's not way too invested for that. Having an ability to manage some liquidity and manage risk in your portfolio is the way to attract larger capital. But we say that we want larger and more institutional money, not necessarily Wall Street, but we want larger bags of money to be able to come in and make larger allocations into HEX with longer and larger stakes. That's incentivized when they have certain tools like this to be able to manage the risk along the way. Because if there's no ability to manage capital, risk, and liquidity, then large investors are going to manage through reduced allocation. That's just what they're going to do. Again, we come out of the institutional fixed income markets and traditional finance, and those become barriers to more meaningful money deploying into your space. So we think that this, on balance, while some liquidity that people have available to could be just simply sold into dollars to meet short-term liquidity needs, that'll happen. But what will happen in larger amounts, we believe, is more comfort will come with larger folks who are willing to deploy larger percentages of funds into longer and larger stakes. And on balance, that will be a big win.
Gotcha. I got a question from Dominic here. Can future HTT/HEX pools be eligible to receive ACTR for LPing, or can it only ever be 3,000, 5,000, 7,000? Same question for vaulting the actuator for HTTs.
So the contract's immutable, so the farms are already pre-established, so we can't change them. However, there is a schedule that it's following that's hard-coded. And so for the first year, it's going to be the 3,000, 5,000, 7,000, like Dominic is asking. And then once year 2 arrives, it'll be 3,000, 5,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. So there's 2 additional pools that are added for farming. And then the third year, there's going to be another pool, and it's HTT 8,000, which will come online in 2 years from now. So we're working in those 1,000-day increments. We kind of see that as kind of a happy medium between, it's not too large of gap, like it's a 3-ish year gap between time tokens, which, it's not too long, but it's not too short as to fracture liquidity. So we're hoping that's kind of a happy medium. With that being said, anybody can create a time token of any length, so long as you have the corresponding stake backing it. So, I could create a time token that matures on, whatever day, 4,982. If I have a stake ending on that day. And we think that there's going to be a market for this. So we're going to build out, discovery tools for users to, maybe there's a lot of untapped stakes ending around day 4,500. maybe we want a day 4500 time token, and so we're gonna try and let the market, decide what maturities does everybody want to work in.
I just want to say that it's uncanny, the 7,000, 3,000, 5,000 logos up there. SJ, could you show your shirt one more time of the logo in the middle?
Hey!
Independently came up with.
Didn't copy it.
First time we've met, but funny
yeah.
enough, yeah, there you go. The 5th anniversary T-shirt has extremely similar to the Actuator's logos here as well.
Right.
So,
Great minds thinking alike.
it looked cool when I did it. I was like, oh, that looks cool. Let's do that. And there you go.
Nice.
Dan, SJ, you have any questions on the Actuator interface, the mechanics, anything like that? Availability?
I don't have any questions. I love the idea. I mean, especially the emphasis on, you don't need to EES, right? Like this is a tool you can utilize instead of that. So, although, when those EESs happen, the ones that are still staked.
Oh, no doubt. But I think we can all remember a community member. I won't name any here because we would know its point, but had a little bit of an issue, and this would have been the perfect solution.
Yeah, I think what you guys have built is great. He's very detailed, thought about the institutional money and everything. Great job, guys. We'll definitely look more into it.
And just on timetables too, Actuator is live mainnet now. Today people can use it, or is there any staged releases, or is this it?
It's fully live, fully functional.
Okay. And then Van, what is the timeline for nice SJ? New Year's, yeah. Or it's live. That's actually a great one for that too. What was the timetable for Pi? And you wanna go over that?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we've been in testnet for about 6 months now. We've been in our V2 testnet for the ERC-404 integration for about a month and a half, 2 years now. We're going through our 4th audit. We're almost there. I don't have a similar ETA. I would say maybe 3 to 6 weeks. And for those who have lasted this long in the stream, just to give you some alpha, because I don't want to just give everything out in the beginning. If you do utilize our protocol in testnet, we will be giving you, we will be doing an airdrop. So you'll be getting PPY for free, and kind of like how the PulseChain tour does have like codes to do discounts, we will have some refer codes. So if you are interested in that, please let me know. We were fully bootstrapped, so we didn't get any funds from that. We had our seed round money to do that. We are in our private round, so if you're interested, please DM me. I will give you a form to send out to people, and you will get more PPY. And to what we're doing for the community is great because we have a lot of things cooking in the background. Chris may hate me for this, but it's okay. He'll be all right. So we have built some very interesting mechanisms in our protocol to where we have cross-chain verifications to where we can actually partner up with different protocols that's outside of PulseChain that's EVM compatible. And basically what that means is, again, when we talked about the NFT, if you have the NFT of their protocol, they will actually gain additional yield. Likewise, we have a backend mechanism to where you can almost have any asset bring liquidity back to PulseChain and become a validator in our protocol, which is awesome. And we already have an MVP product of that and partnering up with someone. If you have been looking at our Twitter, you may know who that is. And the super alpha, again, we're super excited to go on mainnet. We are, still raising funds, but I have been in talks with a plethora of different centralized exchanges, and we did get the go ahead. I did tell them, hey, we are on PulseChain, so is that going to be a problem? They said no. Again, we want to bring as much value to PulseChain as possible. So we're just super excited to go on mainnet. 3 to 6 weeks. Again, we're cooking. We're always cooking, and PPY is going to be a very interesting token. One more alpha for you guys, just to get you guys hyped, because we're super excited. Don't want to spill all the beans, but we are in talks and partnerships. Just actually had a meeting before this, where PPY will actually be considered a RWA, a world asset, where it's actually backed by commodities. So it's not just like a random token that you need to be a validator. It's not a token you want. It's something that you would need. More news on that. Again, just giving you guys some alpha. I know we're kind of quiet, but we're building. Always reach out to us. We're active on Telegram. We're active on Twitter. And I just love to see what everyone's doing. SJ and Max, thanks for having us on, and really, really interested in what you guys got with Actuator. So just want to give you guys that alpha. Thank you so much for having us on the stream.
Of course. SJ, I guess we'll start with you to go through, again, remind people PulseChain tour. I plan on being there as well. Vegas 369 event, March. You cannot forget this date. I know everyone here is 369, but it's like you cannot forget if you map it with the day and the month and then the dates, not the year, just the month and the dates. Who knows? Maybe there'll be one in 2029. I don't know. 3009. You could do that too. But yeah, March 6th through the 9th. But yeah, PulseChainTour.com. How can people, that's, you went through earlier with the website and talked about registration events and stuff too, but what do you want to take us out on that?
Yeah, just, I truly do believe this is going to sell out. And I think it's going to be the biggest Hex meetup event that we've had so far. So I'm just, FOMO, like it's, I think, going to be a real blast, especially considering, what's going on with the markets. Hopefully by that time, we've got some information on what's going on with the hearing and Richard. And, I'm hoping for a total dismissal. I know a lot of people are on different wavelengths with that, but sitting there watching that judge and the way that she acted and the questions that she asked, like that's, my heart would be so happy because it just would make sense with her tone that the dismissal indeed does happen. So lots to celebrate, it's going to be a really great time. And aside from just getting together and meeting people, it's really, I think I've seen just so much like advantageous connecting happening at these events, and so many people meeting one another, right? Like a dev that needs an artist or a project that needs a marketer, right? Like I've seen several things like that happen at these events, and that's really where it happens, because a lot of times things get lost in translation when you're typing online, and like people have personas and things like that. So just come be real with us and have a great time. It's going to be fantastic. And then keep an eye out for more information on FanForge as we develop that project and get that going. I'm really excited about that. Also excited for this note that you've put there. I don't know if I'm going to steal your thunder, but I'm definitely doing that. I will be staking 5555 for 5555 Cuatro Cinco all day long. Super cool. And you know what? I haven't heard anything about a birthday party for Hex. We did one a few years ago, but if anyone's got their got info on that, let me know where the party's at, because I think that would be a really fun thing to do. But maybe
there'll be. I imagine there'll be some local meetups, and we're doing one around here as well the day before and stuff too. But yeah, hopefully there'll be some local meetups if nothing else. I haven't heard of a London meetup that Richard's going to be at this year. Unfortunately, I haven't heard of it. Still TBD. We got a week or two, but yeah, that'd be sweet. Hopefully we'll get another one of those at some point.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. Last question, real quick, for Project Pi. Any kind of LP incentivization? Dominic asks.
Yes. We've been in talks with some partners in the protocol now. I can't really talk about it on there, but yes, there will be a lot of incentives just outside of getting PPY, but LP incentives. So, just follow us on Twitter, comment on Telegram, and yeah, man.
And Actuator protocol, where can people, you want to post the website, and is it maybe just like a real quick, how to get started with it? You connect your wallet, you do the HSR. How does that work real quick?
Yeah, so we're at actuator.finance, and then that'll link you to the DApp and the docs and everything, as well as our Telegram. If you want to get involved, you either hold an HSI or you want to create a new stake, and you could create a new stake through our DApp. And you could leave it there, or you can extract the liquidity. You have flexibility. So
Gotcha. You said actuator.finance is where the DApp is at, where it'll take you to the DApp.
Yeah, it's where the homepage is at, and then that'll link. You can launch the DApp from there.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you all for being on. Okay. I was going to say thank you all for being on. Again, chat if you have any questions. Follow up with them on X as well. You got SJ's info. Vendel's on there as well. Are you the connector on? You all just want to do your Twitter handle stuff real quick so people see where to reach out.
Yeah, I'm the connector. My Twitter handle is likewise Van on all social media platforms. For Project Pi 314 on all social media platforms.
At Wild SJ, we know that one, right?
Yeah, yeah. At AWildSJ, everywhere, all the places.
Yeah, I just updated our handle on my little link there below. So you can find us everywhere we're Actuator.finance, wherever, whatever channel you're on.
Yeah, for you all watching on Spotify, you can't see it. I'm just kidding. We don't have Spotify, but yeah, at Actuator Finance on the screen there as well. SJ, Van, C3 Works, RJ, appreciate you all being here. Thanks for coming on and showing us all the projects, tons of projects on PulseChain. These are a few as well. So love this community. To the moon we go. I certainly hope so. We're looking forward to 2025, end of this year as well.
Very good. Thank you.
Right. Of course. That's all we got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.